Good morning. I'm Dr. Divya, professor from Department of Anatomy at Yenepoya Medical College. So I'm going to brief today upon an innovative teaching learning method called flipped classroom. So the specific learning objective of this session is that you should be able to define the concept of flipped classroom, explain the key components of this flipped classroom, and you should be able to design a flipped classroom lesson plan with active learning strategies. Also, evaluate effectiveness of flipped classroom using a feedback and assessment. So, what is flipped classroom? So, it's a teaching learning methodology where a traditional teaching time and the self-study time are reversed. So, here the students are given the reading material in the form of a print or an audio or a video-based clipping of the topic prior to the class. And we ask the students to come prepared with this material which is given to them. And now the class time is utilized for interactive sessions at teamwork level. So the class session is dedicated for more of an active learning process where the basic concepts which they have gone through the prior material they will be applying here for a more higher order thinking to solve the problems or case-based scenarios. So in a traditional classroom where the teacher acted as a sage on the stage and the didactic lectures are usually unidirectional and students are usually passive listeners. But here in the flipped classroom, the reading material is shared to the students so they come prepared to the class, and in the class they are actively engaged to solve the problems given to them. Now the teacher here acts as a facilitator or a guide standing at the side of it, helping them to understand these concepts. So in a flipped classroom, it is a more student-centric method where active learning is occurring. So the main rationale behind this approach is that teacher can now spend time face to time in supporting the students in deeper learning process. So flipped classroom is not just recording a didactic lecture and sharing it with the students. Here, the in-class activity plays a more important role. So what happens in the class is that the students who have gone through the basic concepts are involved in engaging activities. So they will discuss the concepts, what they have read among their peers, and they will try to solve the problems which is posed to them. So here they work together as a team to understand the hard to understand topic. So the active learning is occurring in the classroom. So in the flipped classroom, the pre-class activities is mainly focusing at the lower level of the Bloom's taxonomy of the cognitive level. So here the pre-class content which is shared with them will be focusing on the knowledge and comprehension. While when they come to the class, the classroom activities are used to facilitate higher levels, which includes application and analysis. So in the class, they will be trying to apply the basic concept what they have understood to solve the problems and find the answers to these problems. So flipped classroom will also help our students who were actually just passive listeners in a didactic lecture. So they will be able to go through the basic concept at their self-paced level, and in the class they are more engaged in active activities. So the need for this transition is required because the current curriculum emphasizes to integrate the knowledge which is gained at different levels of training with skills and attitude. So flipped classroom favors the students for active engagement by posing them with case-based, problem-based or team-based exercises. So in this way, we'll be able to ask the students to activate their prior knowledge and apply it to solve these problems. So the pros of this flipped classroom includes that it facilitates a learner-centered education, and here there is more interaction between the teacher and the student, and also the in-class activities can be utilized for higher order learning. The cons include that it requires more time and effort by the teacher to prepare prior class activities and also the engaging in-class activities. So how do we initiate a flipped classroom? So we can start by flipping one or two classes. So then try to reflect upon the learn from the experience. So we can address any perceived shortcomings which is gone right or wrong in this first two classes. So then a lot of preparation is required for the in-class activity so that the relevant content is covered and also engaging activities are given so that the students are involved in higher order thinking skills. So tips for flipped classroom includes, so the prior reading material can be in the form of a reading material, or it can be also a recorded video. So usually the online recorded video is ideal to be just 10 to 15 minutes, and this should include only one or two key concepts. So then, in order to make sure that the student has gone through the video, a quiz can also be incorporated in this LMS system so that the students are also involved in thinking more deeply after they have gone through this video. While we can introduce different media to give the online reading material, so it can be video, audio, documents, web pages or animations. So in each class, a different media can be shared with the students. And to engage students in a variety of activities during the in-class sessions. So in one session, we can give cases to them, problems, quiz can also be conducted, a collaborative mind mapping where the students can work together and prepare a mind map of the concept they have understood, and concept mapping can also be asked by the students to be prepared. So a web search using the keywords like active learning activities will yield a host of ideas for engaging students in the classroom, which can be utilized for such engaging activities for the active learning during the classroom. So while in the classroom, the sessions are more inclined towards higher order thinking skill. So our assessment also need to be aligned towards this. So even when we are assessing them either in the formative assessment or in the class test, so we should be able to ask or pose questions which involves higher order thinking skills. Finally, the evaluation. So after conducting this method, we will be able to know what is the pro and con or how did it go well by giving a questionnaire for the student to know their perception of the effectiveness of this approach. So questions concerning their depth of learning, how they were able to gain knowledge by this method, so were they satisfied with the media shared with them, and the overall satisfaction can be asked. So even open-ended questions of how they benefited from this method can be asked, and which can be a valuable feedback for us to improve on the successive sessions. So a flipped classroom session was conducted in our department and how we went through. So first the students were sensitized about this method. So we sensitized the students that the material will be provided to them which they have to read and then come to the class. So a 10 to 15 minute video on the topic of parotid gland was shared to students about 1 week prior to the class. So then when they came to the class, a pre-test was conducted, and in the class, a more engaging activity was conducted. So the students were divided into small groups of 10 to 15 each, and each group was given a case, which include that they have to solve the anatomical basis for these cases. So they discussed among the group. So as they had gone through the basic concept in the prior video, so they were able to discuss what is the anatomical basis for this problem here. So then if there was any query here, the teacher acted as a facilitator to clear their queries. Following this, each group was asked to do a presentation of the case given to them. So they presented their case and also the solution for the problem. For the anatomical basis for each of this case was discussed. So finally, a post-test was conducted and also a feedback was collected from the students asking them about how this method helped them to understand the concepts. So the feedback showed that the students felt that this method was more engaging and interactive. So when compared to a didactic lecture, they felt that they were more involved in this type of method. It also helped them go and read further about this topic, and they also expressed that they were able to understand this concept better with this method of teaching and learning. So what went well with this method was that the students were actively engaged in group. Each of them was involved in trying to solve the problem given to them. So they were applying their prior knowledge here in order to solve this. So higher order thinking was applied here, and they also worked in team together. The challenges posed were that it was time consuming for the teacher. So first we had to prepare a video, and then also in class activity, a lot of cases had to be prepared with the questions for them. And some students had not actually prepared and come to the class. And some students also felt that it was an increased workload to them. So instead of just coming and sitting in a class, they had to read and come to the class. So how we tried to address these challenges were that a short video of 10 minutes was given so that they were able to watch it. And to make sure that they have watched it, an online quiz also was given to them. And 1 week prior, the material was shared so that they had ample of time, and also at the self-paced level, they will be able to go through that. So to summarize, flipped classroom is a pedagogical model in which a typical lecture and a homework is reversed. So here, we try to engage students in a higher order thinking, mainly to apply the knowledge, the basic concepts, and to solve the problems. Then here the teacher's role will shift from being a teacher who is unidirectionally teaching the students to a facilitator. So when they are actively involved in group discussion, so here the teacher will act as facilitator just to clear their queries. So the take-home message includes to keep it simple. So the online video to be covered will be only 1 or 2 concepts, and to avoid information overload. So the material what we shared should include the basic and minimal information, while in-class activity should be very well planned so that they'll be able to actively engage. Thank you.